All right, good morning from Lima, Peru. We got in last night about 10 o'clock, took a nap, had breakfast. Now we're heading out to explore Miraflores, which is where we're staying for the next 2 days while we're here in Lima. Right in here in the middle of Miraflores, they've got an archaeological site. We're going to go check that out. So there are a number of different neighborhoods in the Lima area. The two that we're going to be focusing on are Miraflores and Barranco. And right now we're checking out Miraflores. So far it's very nice. It's quiet. What else have you noticed? Colorful.
Bustling.
Quiet and bustling. Busy, but quiet. So right now we're trying to find out how to get into this archaeological site, Huaca Pucllana. So far we walked around pretty much the entire outside of it and have not found the entrance yet.
Nice little walk.
Yeah. Once we got into the site, we had to wait about 15 minutes for our tour to start, and then the whole tour itself only takes about an hour. They do have multiple tours in multiple different languages. They all start at different times, so you may not start your tour immediately after you get there. Something else to keep in mind, and we did not take into consideration, is that Lima has some of the highest UV ratings in the world, and this site is in a large open area with very little shade. So something to keep the sun off of you might be a good idea. So we finished our tour of Huaca Pucllana. It was a good way to spend about an hour, hour and a half. It is a guided tour and you're required to have a guide. However, the guide is included in your entrance fee, which is actually not that much. It was 15 soles per person, which comes out to about $4, give or take. So,
and over 60, it's free.
Yeah, if you're over 60, if you're a student
And a professor.
or an archaeologist or a professor, yeah, you get some sort of discount, but we are none of those, so I couldn't tell you what the discount is, but those are available. But it was interesting learning about this place. It's part of the Lima culture, which is different, or the Lima civilization, which is different than the Incan civilization. It predates the Incan civilization by about 1,000 years, is what our guide said. So that was really kind of interesting to hear about, and just kind of how all the cultures came to be.
Learned about the fact that it doesn't rain here.
Yeah, they said 20 millimeters of rain a year on average.
It's about, what,
2 centimeters, roughly, so not even an inch of rain. Now that we've finished our tour, we're heading off to see if we can find an ATM so we can pull some cash. We didn't exchange any money before we came, so we'll see how that goes. We did try to exchange money or to pull cash at the airport last night, but the 2 ATMs they had kept rejecting cards, and it wasn't just ours. It was everybody that was trying to pull cash. So we currently don't have any soles. So we're gonna see if we can go find some soles, and then we're gonna explore a little bit more. So we were able to get some soles at the ATM, and then we kind of headed down towards the beach, which is where we are now. So we're just gonna walk along here and see what there is to see. We've been watching people windsurf, and you can kind of see them out there. Currently on what's known as the Malecón, or the walkway above the ocean here in Miraflores. And it runs right alongside a park and right along the Miraflores neighborhood. So you get good views of the ocean, people windsurfing.
This has a Miami vibe.
Which it does. It kind of has that South Beach feel.
South Beach.
Malecon, you can find one of the famous parks known as Lover's Park. And it's the one with the statue of the sailor and the girl kissing. It also has the fence with the love locks on it. So if that's something you want to do, you're more than welcome to go ahead and purchase a lock from people standing there, and happy to sell you a lock that you could place on the fence. We did not choose to do that, but we did continue on, and now we're going to walk down, hopefully, to the actual beach. As you may notice, it's very cloudy today, and that is very normal. We found out this morning during our tour that usually through the months of about April through November, it's cloudy here in Lima with very little sunshine. So it kind of started out partly cloudy, partly sunny this morning, and then the clouds really pushed in, and it's been cloudy ever since. And looking at the weather for the next few days, looks like that's what we're going to expect, or get to expect. So no clear days or sunny days and blue skies for us on this trip, but that's okay. So one thing Lima is known for is surfing, and now that we've made it down to the beach, there are little surf shops or little surf tents all pretty much up and down along the whole beachfront here. So if you want to learn to surf, they've got surfing classes for people who don't know how to surf, and you can rent surfboards if you already know how to surf. So I'm trying to talk Alex into doing that, but she's not committed yet. But there are a bunch of people already out in the water. Haven't tested the water to know how cold it is. I'm assuming not warm since everybody is wearing wetsuits, but that's just me. But that is something to do, along with the Paris, or the windsurfing that we saw up at the top along the Malecon. So we pretty much walked the whole length of the beach. We're going to walk back in through Barranco, and here in about an hour we're going to head to a food tour in the Barranco neighborhood. So we'll take you guys along for that. But so far, it's been pretty good. We're just going to continue walking and see what there is to see. It's been a pretty cheap day, honestly. We might stop and get something to drink. I really do want to kind of try a pisco sour, so we may stop and try one of those before we head out on our food tour. I don't know. We don't really have a whole lot planned other than just seeing what we can do today. Should be pulling up to our food tour here any minute. Barranco is much different looks-wise than Miraflores. It has more of a colonial style to it. Reminds me a lot of Key West, Sanibel, Uruguay, Colonia del Sacramento, all of those places. So far, very nice. Maybe not as clean as Miraflores, but we'll see. So we're going to get started on our food tour here, and hopefully, fingers crossed, try some good foods. We'll see. Oh look, there's Alex taking a picture. Something. She's so happy to be here. So we're going to do a full tasting of food today, starting with breakfast foods and then ending with dinner. I'm excited. There are some foods that I wanted to try and some drinks I want to try. so we just finished up our food tour. Alex is still finishing up her ice cream, or her gelato, not ice cream.
Helado.
Helado. Hidalgo is a horse. Helado. But we didn't have helado, we had gelato. So now we have about a 3-mile walk back to the hotel from Barranco to Miraflores. So we're gonna get on with that. Like I said before, it was a decent food tour. I don't know if I've had better or worse.
I think it was fun. I actually liked it better than some of the ones we've done.
Well, the only other two we've done are
I like it better than India.
Yeah, well, the other two we did were in India, so that doesn't really count. But this one was with a group, which was different. I don't know if I prefer a group or a private tour. That being said, the cost of this was about $75 per person. A little bit on the expensive side, if you ask me, but it's personal opinion. So today we didn't maybe get to do as much as we wanted. We haven't even scratched the surface here of what there is to see around here in Lima. All right, here we are starting off day 2 in Peru. So our whole plan, we're gonna go to the mall, kind of on the seawall, sea cliff area. There's a mall called Barranco. So we're gonna go there. Then we're gonna head back over to Barranco, which is kind of their bohemian art district. So that is our goal for the day. Then we're gonna come back here at some point, and then
I'm gonna try to spend tourist dollars.
Alex cannot wait. She's got money burning a hole in her pocket.
Later tonight, we're gonna head back here and then head to their main square.
Yep.
And
Plaza
see
de Armas.
the light show.
Yeah. So.
And have dinner, which we'll think of that later.
Peru and Lima especially is known for world famous cuisine. It's kind of a food capital of the world. So there's a lot of good restaurants up there. The food tour last night was good. It kind of gave us an overview of everything that, like the normal or local dishes. So we'll see what we find at a real restaurant. But we're going to get headed towards the mall, and yeah, we'll see you guys there. Which again is the mall here cut into the cliff face or the ocean face or the ocean wall face that you can see kind of there behind me. So Alex wandered around, didn't find anything that she can just spend her dollars on. It's a decently sized mall. There's maybe a handful of shops. How many shops would you say are in there?
Like 70.
Yeah, 60 or 70 shops in there. So they've got some big name brands. They've got like North Face, Adidas, H&M, no Zara's or Louis Vuittons. So Alex really didn't have anything to do. The views from up here are pretty nice. Got a nice view of the ocean. It's actually a semi-decently clear day. So we are going to continue walking. We're going to head back over to Barranco and see what's over there. The one thing that I didn't talk about earlier that I wanted to talk about is public transit and getting around. So as far as public transport goes, we haven't seen too much. They do have buses, they do have taxis. We haven't seen anything like a subway here, so I don't think one exists, which is unfortunate because we do find a subway to be an excellent means of transit in other cities. So the buses that we've seen don't look that nice to be nice. Alex says they're fine.
No, I said I'm sure.
Alex says they're fine. She wants to ride one.
No,
What's the matter?
I'd rather walk.
Alex would rather walk because the buses are so fine and nice. Anyway, we have chosen to walk a lot, except for the Uber that we took today.
Very walkable.
Yes. The city is very walkable. We walked across the Malecon yesterday and a little bit today, and you can pretty much traverse the whole part or shoreline of Miraflores and get to Miraflores, the whole shoreline of Lima and get to many of the neighborhoods. So we've taken the Malecon from Miraflores to Barranco, both yesterday and today. Also set up to be able to ride your bikes or scooters or run if that was your preferred method of getting around. So they have separate bike lanes and walking lanes. Here we are in Barranco, sitting in a park. We walked all the way from Miraflores to Barranco along the Malecon, and now we're here.
It's hot.
It's hot, yeah. So today ended up being a Peruvian holiday. So that means there are a lot of people off work and out of school that are not normally off work and out of school. So it's way busier in all the public places, like the parks and along the boardwalk. Well, not the boardwalk, but the Malecon. What that means for us is that it makes it a little bit more difficult to go see places. We walked across the Bridge of Sighs earlier, and it was pretty much packed. I mean, there's just all sorts of people there. So it's hard to go do that. Plus, with it being a holiday, all the museums are closed, things like that. Everything that would be a public attraction, all the public attractions are closed. So that's why we're sitting here in the park. But it's still a nice park. Like I said, it's a very walkable city. So far we've done 3.64 miles, or 4 if you're Alex. Her miles are different because her strides are shorter, so she walks twice as far. Pretty sure how that works. We're on our way to find us some drinks. We decided it was too hot sitting in the sun, so we're gonna go see if we can find a little pub, grab a drink, cool off, and then maybe we'll wander around Barranco some more. Hopefully the crowds kind of die off here. Alrighty, so we finished our drinks, feeling slightly more refreshed, maybe a little rested. We're going to continue exploring Barranco, and then we're going to head back to the hotel, show you around the hotel, take a little siesta, and then head over to Plaza de Armas or Plaza del Mayor.
Cozy suite at the Intemporal Boutique Hotel. So as we walk in, we have our bathroom here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on all the lights so you can see. So you have a toilet and then shower with a rain shower head. And then your amenities, which are soap, conditioner, and shampoo. We're gonna go out here to our main area. So we have a queen size bed. And here's our vanity. Again with the amenities. Nice and cozy. We have a TV. And a little bitty rack for all your clothes, and then a beautiful outdoor area that you can see. The room does come stocked with water, and we have just outside of our room, we have a little area that you can get water and coffee and tea from.
Alrighty, so we just finished our first Peruvian meal We ordered it ourselves, we ate it ourselves, and we survived. What?
It was really good.
It was really good. We had some ceviche as a starter, and then Alex had the lomo saltado, and then I had something called chaufa amazonico, which was like stir-fried seafood, which was really, really good. And then, of course, we finished it off with a dessert. All right, so Alex is busy getting us an Uber back there. We did strike out on the Circuito Mágico de Agua. Circuit started at 8:15, and we got there right at almost, not quite half an hour late. So we decided not to do it tonight, and we'll try to do it next week before we go home. We're going to head back to the hotel, and we'll catch up with you guys there. All right, so we're back at the hotel, wrapping it up. Tonight was kind of a bust. We didn't make it to the Plaza de Armas. We didn't make it to the water park to see the water show. You guys won't get to see it because Alex doesn't want to go see it. I was giving her India. So anyway, we're going to get packed up here because we have to go catch a plane tomorrow morning at 8. But the car to pick us up and take us to the airport will be here at 5:30. So we have to be packed up, ready to go off to our next adventure, which is Cusco, and head to bed. So we will check you guys out in the morning, maybe at the airport, maybe in Cusco. We don't know. Until then, there's Alex doing whatever it is that Alex does. Here we are. It's morning time. We're packed up and ready to go at 5:25 in the morning. Our driver is going to be here in 5 minutes. There's Alexis, ready to go. We're going to hustle out of here, catch our airport, and catch our plane, head to the airport, catch our plane.
To Cusco.
And head to Cusco for the next adventure. Here we go. Alright, so we made it to the airport. We got a cool little bag lunch that the hotel provided for us. It's currently 6:15. We left our hotel at 5:30, so 45 minutes ago. They say to be here 2 hours ahead of time. It was definitely not needed to be here at 6 a.m. because it took us all of like 5 minutes to get through the check-in process. If you have checked bags, they automatically print your boarding or a bag tag. You slap it on, you go up to the bag drop it, and you're done. That's all there is to it. So not difficult at all. So we've got 2 hours to kill before a flight. So anyway, we're gonna break into our box lunch here and see what they brought for us. They packet some bread and cheese too.
Cookies.
Tiny little spoon. Alright, so it looks like we got some water, some yogurt, some granola, bread, and what was it? A cookie. So, decent little breakfast to get you started for the day. Alright, we're gonna dig in. Oh, and a piece of toast.
It's a sandwich.
Oh, it's a little panini. So, we're going to dig in here. We've made it into Cusco. Got on our flight. It was about an hour and a half from Lima to Cusco. Now we're gonna explore Cusco a little bit before our room at our hotel is ready. down at the Plaza de Armas, and it is literally crawling with tourists, which, yes, we are tourists, but a lot of tourists down there. So again, most like touristy places, there's a lot of tourists. Go figure. So now we're headed out to get lunch. Get some food in our bellies. Alex did not want to eat at the San Pedro market. Now we have to just go eat at a regular restaurant like normal people. So that is what we're gonna do. For lunch, we found a little restaurant in downtown Cusco called Nuña Raimi. I'm probably saying that name incorrectly. But their model focused on a farm-to-table menu, and most of the products on that menu were locally sourced, either from the farm of the restaurant itself or from local suppliers. The restaurant itself had a welcoming atmosphere, and the food looked delicious. All right, so we're branching out here. I did not get the cuy or the guinea pig for this time, but I did get alpaca steak with like mashed potatoes and veggies sauteed in a pisco and pepper sauce. So hopefully that'll be good. And then Alex got a grilled chicken with pepper sauce. So, what? Yeah, the noodles. So, that should be interesting. Branching out a little bit there. And then the drink, we got the chicha. She's so happy. She branched out. And then to drink, we got the chicha morada and then just a local drink. So, they say that the cuy is best in the mercado. So, I might have to go there and try it. I don't know if Alex is going to try it in the mercado. She is shaking her head. Yes. She's shaking her head, yes. It's very, very good. The chips were just regular house-made potato chips. And then we had like a little side you can kind of see one there. A little side of boiled corn and pepper sauce. So, yeah, that was a good appetizer. This one was really, really good. Can't wait to dig in. Alex has already started. Now it's about 2:30. Perfect time for a little bit of a nap and head back out. Maybe have like some tapas or like aperitivos before dinner. I don't know if and when we're going to eat dinner. We might just eat dinner at the restaurant or at the hotel, since they have a restaurant inside there that serves lunch and dinner. We'll see. But that all comes after the nap.
Okay, so this is our room in the Antigua Hotel. We have a king-size traditional room, and here as you walk in, here is our sink. So the bath or the toilet and the shower are separate from the sink. So here's our sink. Here is the bathroom, which you have a full, nice, big bathroom. And then a nice big shower with a rain shower head. We do have some amenities over here. Looks like shampoo, conditioner, and soap or body wash. We got the room with the king size bed. The room comes with filtered water, and they are very adamant about you drinking the filtered water, not from the tap. So if you do, there's water everywhere. I mean, we have a kettle and we have to put that water in the kettle. There's water over by the sink for you to brush your teeth with. And then there's water on both of the nightstands. And they are literally like, please call us if you run out. We have not a balcony, it's just a open door here so we can see the view of Cusco. It's gorgeous. This hotel is stunning. The architecture in here is very antique and classic, and it's got lots of charm.
After having a little nap, or a siesta, as it's called here, and rallying, I'm back out on the streets, kind of just exploring Cusco. Maybe tomorrow, though, we'll hike up to Saqsayhuaman and see those ruins. But really, we just want to explore Cusco and see what it was like here. So this morning when we left Lima, we were at pretty much sea level, maybe a couple meters above it. And then we left Lima and came up to Cusco, which is roughly 10 to 11,000 feet above sea level. And that's a pretty big jump to make all at once, which we did flying. So there's always the risk of running into altitude sickness. We did okay initially as soon as we got here. A little bit after lunch, though, Alex started to have, well, a little bit before lunch, Alex started to have a headache, feel a little bit nauseated, which are all symptoms of altitude sickness. So we went back and took a nap. There are medicines you can take to help with that. Altitude sickness medicines here, they prefer the coca leaves, which we did not use, and other herbs and teas that you can drink to kind of help combat the altitude sickness that you may run into. But after a nap, Alex's symptoms seem to be a lot better, so that's good. Hopefully they'll stay that way. We definitely don't want those out on the trail and can't do anything about them. At numerous places here in Cusco, you can see evidence or remnants of Incan architecture, like the wall behind me here. Well, maybe not Incan in building, not built by the Incans. It's definitely the same architectural style of other Incan ruins and buildings. So we're now in the San Francisco market, which sells a lot of artisanal products. All right, so we went and spent a few tourist dollars here in Cusco.
Hey, Alex didn't spend any tourist dollars.
Yeah, I spent tourist dollars. That's fine. There's not a law against spending tourist dollars. You just have to do it wisely. Can't go off and buy a $5,000 tabletop like that.
Apparently you can if it goes.
It's true. Yeah, you can. Some people can. Anyway, we spent our tourist dollars. Got a few things. Got one thing, a little neck gaiter because my neck got sunburned. We're making our way back through Plaza de Armas, back towards the hotel. Since we ate lunch so late, neither one of us are very hungry. It's about 6:30, 6:30 o'clock, but we are going to stop at maybe a bar and get
Almost 7.
almost 7 o'clock. Stop at a bar, get a cocktail, make our way back towards the hotel. They do have that restaurant at the hotel, so if we decide that we're hungry there, we can always stop and get something at the hotel to eat. So far today, the initial impressions of Cusco, it's very touristy, which, to be fair, is expected. This is the starting point for a lot of tours up to Machu Picchu. Everybody kind of convenes here, and it's the closest airport to Machu Picchu, so everybody comes into here. So today it was all about familiarizing ourselves with Cusco. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get out and see a few more of the actual sites. Maybe partake in a chocolate or coffee tour. Who knows? Options are endless here. All right, so we're wrapping up day 1 in Cusco, kind of seeing what was out there. Gives an idea of what we want to do tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we have to go to our meeting for our hike, and then we'll start the hike Friday morning.
Now we're winding down the night with our awesome hotel provided us. They do turn down service, so they come in and turn down your bed, and then to our surprise we came back from dinner and they've heated up the bed too with these little water pouches that I'm now using as a heating pad. And then they set us some chocolate aside, and I'm having some tea, and I found my favorite book on the free library bookshelf that I'm currently over here reading. So
after we got done walking, we did finish it off with drinks at a local bar near the hotel, and then we went to the hotel restaurant for dinner tonight. So they had a pretty good, decent menu. That's it. We're going to hit the hay because we are tired, even though we took a nap this afternoon, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. All right, it's morning time. We're getting ready to head out and have our breakfast that's provided by the hotel. We'll go see if it's as good or better than dinner last night.
I don't know, dinner last night was pretty good.
Alright, we're in the room, we're dressed up, we're ready to go. We have a theme song for our day because we're hiking in the Andes.
But we're not.
We're not really, not yet, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
But we are going to walk up to Saqsayhuaman, which is about 45 minutes from Cusco. Now it looks like we're dressed for some sort of expedition adventure, and that's because the UV index here in Cusco today is going to be 14.
Which is something you definitely have to watch. There will be just sun and us, and a UV index of 14 is gonna burn.
It's gonna be no bueno. We're gonna go ahead and head out. We're gonna go grab some soles first, so we have some spending cash, and then head out to Saqsayhuaman. So we got our tickets from the ticket booth, which it's not very easy to tell where the ticket booth is. But literally right next to each other, they have the ticket booth and then the ticket collectors. It was only 70 soles for the 1-day ticket. You can get up to a 10-day ticket if you're gonna be around that long to go see all the other sites. But again, this is the only site we really wanted to see. So, at least today. So we just got the 1-day ticket. So as you're walking back down towards Cusco, you can see the path off to the left there. It'll take you up towards Cristo Blanco. So we're going to take that. For a quick bite to eat. It's 2 o'clock, so we didn't want anything heavy to spoil our dinner. So we just got some light things. I got a sandwich, Alex got some chips and guacamole, and then a couple of drinks. So it's not horribly priced. I'm looking here. Like my beer was $3, and Alex got a Coke Zero for $2. Combined meal was maybe less than 100 soles, so less than $50 for a lunch. We'll let you know how it is. Alright, so my sandwich finally came, but now we're just waiting on Alex's chips and guacamole, which you wouldn't think would take that long. So we've literally been about 15 minutes since we ordered. So the service here is not the quickest, but hopefully the food makes up for lack of service. We're about to find out. Juicy. It's literally just a piece of beef on bread with cheese. Like a Peruvian take on a cheesesteak sandwich. Yeah, except there's no veggies on here. So, I've had better. So after a short reprieve at the hotel post-lunch, we worked to try to get everything situated before our hike tomorrow. We're off to our pre-hike briefing. To find out what it's all about, we'll keep you guys updated and we'll catch you after the meeting. So we just got back from our briefing for our hike tomorrow morning. Alex is already nervously pooping over there. I'd say she is low-key stressing out, but she is not low-key stressing out. She is very much high-key stressing out over this hike.
Panicking.
Everything that she's trained and prepared for has gone out the window. So we're going to do it. We got our bags, courtesy of Salkantay. We're going to get them packed up. Then we're going to go get some pizza and probably some drinks to help her relax. We do have to be back in bed early because we're meeting our guide at 3:50 tomorrow morning to start our hike. So
I'm sweating. I'm panicking over here.
She's going to be fine.
That brief was just a little bit mind-opening. I mean, our tour guide's awesome. I mean, you can already tell he's awesome. He's a no bullshit kind of person. And he told it to us straight.
Yeah.
And I know we're prepared, and I know we can do this. It's just
we've trained, we're prepared.
Hearing it out loud and on paper looks
scary. It looks difficult.
A little scary.
But the only good news is that I think everybody else that was in our group is also in the same boat we are. They are all probably mildly freaked out a little bit and wondering what they got themselves into. So I think we're all going to be in the same boat. I think, like I said, it's going to be okay. but we will make sure to document everything. Alex is going to learn to poop in the wild.
Panicking. And the snakes,
Yeah, it's fine. There's only one person they've had to evac out due to a snake bite recently, so it's fine. Anyway, we're going to get these bags packed up and then head to dinner. So we'll catch up with you guys then. With only a few tears and a little bit of bad language.
there was no tears.
Alex.
You tell him there was no tears. He is just a man who doesn't understand sometimes what we need.
Anyway, we did manage to get everything packed in our bags. We're ready to go, minus the clothes that we have on. Was it a little stressful for some of us? Half of us? Yes, it was. Is the whole trip going to be like this? You better believe it. But we do get to reward ourselves with some pizza and probably some alcohol. So we're going to go do that right now so she can stress some more. But, all right, let's go get Din Din. So we just finished out the night with some pretty good pizza and a couple of beers. So now we're gonna head back to the room, put the finishing touches on our packing, and take showers and hit the hay. Because again, 3 a.m. is gonna come early.
I did not sleep at all last night. I woke up panicking. And I didn't have enough water. And I'm dehydrated. So this is going to be an adventure. That's all I can say. It is the ass crack of dawn.
It's 3:53 and our guide's not here yet.
I have not had coffee and will not get coffee on this trip, apparently. So...
It's an adventure.
It's an adventure.
Our guide finally did show up and took us to the van where we met the rest of the couples for our hike. After a couple hours van ride, we had breakfast, all you could eat, with plenty of food to fuel us for the hike ahead. Then it was back to the van for another hour before we got to the actual trailhead for our hike. Alright, so we just had our pre-hike briefing. So now hiking up the mountain. It's already hot. And the UV index today is like 14, so. There's Alex, hiking toward Expedition Everest. You can see it there behind us. Just a few hundred meters in. We're taking it pretty slow, which is fine, because we are already at over 12,000 feet elevation. So we don't want to burn ourselves out the first day. Tomorrow is going to be the hardest day. And we'll be doing about 16 miles tomorrow. Alright, so we're about 2 hours into this hike. It's not too bad because we're taking a break every maybe 10 minutes. Get everybody a break and a breather, which is nice because not all of us are at the same fitness level. Based on our time frame, we can probably have another hour and a half, 2 hours of hiking before we get to our base camp for the evening. We're gonna watch Alex try not to fall down this cliff. So we're in our star dome here. We've got about 10 minutes to get everything put away and then head to lunch. So we're gonna get that done. As you can see, we got a single bed in this one. I thought they were going to be separate beds, but they're not. At least not in this one anyway. So Alex and I will be sharing. Over here on the side, what it looks like. It does come. Oh, it already has all her stuff here. It does come with electrical outlets and a lamp. Does not appear that they have the power turned off on yet to the lamp. But that's it. That's where we'll be staying tonight. There's a tarp covering the roof right now that they'll take off here after a little bit, probably by the time we come down from the lake. That's what our accommodations for the night look like. So we're gonna get ready to go hike up to Humante Lake right now and start the next part of our adventure. Alright, so we're hiking up to Humante Lake. It's about an hour and a half hike up the hill, which you can kind of see there in the distance. So we'll see how this goes. This is another 300 meters above where we're spending the night. Hike this morning, hike some more. That's the name of the game here. It is a little bit windy, so I don't know how well the audio is going to record on this, but we're going to give it a go anyway. Well, we made it to the top, and you can see behind me there, the Monte Lake. It is pretty neat. Not gonna lie, the views are very, very spectacular. I don't think I've ever hiked up anything or seen anything like that. What do you gotta say?
What?
Besides, you made it and you didn't die.
I made it.
And you did.
And I didn't die.
You didn't cry either, so
No.
you got all that going for you. You got the lake behind us there. You can see all the
Beautiful.
people. It is. Very well. See the mountain up there. Hang on. And Alex. Actually, I feel a lot better hiking this one than I did hiking Colorado. So Colorado might have actually helped a little bit. But anyway, we're going to take some photos, spend a little time here, then we're going to skedaddle down the mountain. There's Alex taking a photo of a photo.
Take photo.
I'm trying to walk to the other side of the lake. Way up there. To see if we can get any better pictures, and I'm going to try to hurry here. Don't know if I'm going to make it. Alex didn't want to come. That's okay though. I just want a couple pictures, and then we've got about 20 minutes left on our time up here at the lake, and then we're heading back. Let's see here. So we are leaving Umantai Lake, headed back down the mountain. There's Alex, the mountain goat. In years past, you used to be able to get into the lake, but then they decided with the number of people coming to the lake and the body oils, sunscreen and everything like that, it was starting to contaminate the lake. So they put the kibosh on that. So you can't get in it. It was worth a hike up here. It was a rough hike up. I'm not gonna lie about that. You can kind of see down there where my finger is. That's where we have to get back to tonight. Now it's just about 10 till 4. We gotta hike down, and then we have to be at dinner at 5:30. Well, tea time at 5:30. So I think we'll be able to do it. Going down is always a little bit faster than going up, I think, anyway. What? Yeah, there's a cow. He's a mountain cow. Mountain cow. Anyway, so we're going to continue trekking down the mountain, and we will see you guys at the bottom, back at our campsite. So I've got the covers off of our dome houses for the evening. That's what they look like. Forgot to say it earlier, but tomorrow we're hiking up Salkantay Pass, which is there. You can't really see Salkantay because it's already fogged in with clouds. So in the morning we can see it though. And this is what the dome looks like inside after the cover has been taken off. In case you're wondering, if you're sitting on the bed, the first row is frosted, so you really can't see the person behind you, or next to you. But if you're standing up, you can definitely see into their tent. So, all right, well, we are back. My bed appears to be dry, which is nice because I leaked water somewhere. And then we can look up at the stars tonight. That's looking up through the ceiling of our dome here. So, all right, we're gonna unload after our trip, kind of kick back for a minute, and then head to, yeah, how about an hour? Exactly an hour until tea time. All right, so a quick tour of the rest of the camp. Got the sky dome there. Little main area. You can see Salkantay there in the distance behind the domes. Up here we have the path to the kitchen and the dining hall, which is in there. And we'll be going in there here in about 15 minutes for tea time. All the mountains there. One of the other trekkers just said she thought she heard thought they saw lightning, and I heard thunder earlier. And if you look at the mountains, it looks a little dark, so we might be getting some thunderstorms tonight. We'll see, but with that glass ceiling, if we do get thunderstorms, it'll be a show for sure. Anyway, we're gonna go get ready for tea time and just hang out. That is definitely thunder. That's definitely thunder. That's why I said that big giant metal dome probably won't attract any lightning at all. Off to dinner, off to tea time. So we finished breakfast. It was a really good breakfast. Bacon, or not bacon. Eggs, pancakes, coffee, hot chocolate, water, tea, whatever. We did get up about 4:30. Got our camp packed up. Went to breakfast. Did our morning ablutions. And now we're headed out on our hike. This is day 2 of 5. By far one of the hardest days. We're hiking Salkantay Pass. We have up to 15,000 feet of elevation. We're currently starting out at 12,770. So, gaining 3,000 feet today. It's gonna be a rough day. We've got to hike about 6 hours before we get to lunch. It's currently 6 in the morning. So, around 1 or 2 we'll be at our lunch stop. Here's to hoping we can do it. So that's where we came from. That up there is where we're going. Good times. Hi-bye, everybody. Talking about how much fun you're having already this morning. So this hike is broken up into 4 different sections. And kind of the way he described it, we'll gain elevation. We'll have a flat spot to kind of catch our breath. Gain elevation, flat spot, gain elevation. We've already had our first flat section. Getting ready to have the first elevation. So we'll see how it goes. So far, everybody's holding up pretty well. We'll see how the day goes. We had to pull over for the pack horses. Coming back down the trail. So we'll take this time while we're on a little bit of a flat spot here to talk about last night. We got our sleeping bags. They're rated down to about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Salkantay Trekking provides you with a sleeping bag liner. They also give you a blanket and pillows, which was nice. Very welcome. We did not end up using the liners. Alex did hog the blanket. But raise your hand if you're surprised. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. It probably got down into the low 40s, high 30s last night. So, I don't know. I didn't get out of my sleeping bag. Alex did get up and go to the bathroom. I don't know how that was for her.
11:30 was dark.
Do what?
11:30 was really dark.
11:30 at night, and it was really dark. Got a wobble going on there. That path that's in front of us is what we're going to be walking up here in just a little bit. It does look a little bit daunting for sure, but Alex has her trekking poles and a can-do attitude. We have gained 1,000 feet of elevation since we left base camp. We should have about 2,000 more to gain, all said and done. It looks like we're going to gain all 2,000 of it right here. So we're going to give it our best and try not to die. The guy did tell us that this path's nickname was the Gringo Killer, so we're going to see how accurate that is. So I will say that this is not an easy hike by any means, but we're doing it. We'll get there eventually. It's 8 o'clock. We've been hiking for 2 hours. We've gained about 1,500 feet of elevation. So halfway on our elevation. Woo! We're gonna keep plodding along though, because we got places to be, people to see, and things to do. You can kind of see way up there in the distance where we're headed. Like I said, we'll get there eventually. Slow and steady wins the race. And what little reading and research I did prior to this trip, Salkantay trek or hike, while maybe not as popular or famous as the Incan Trail, is one of the hikes or routes that religious leaders would take to Machu Picchu. And the reason for that is that it's at a higher elevation than the Incan Trail. So the religious leaders felt that they were closer to the gods as they were walking this path. It's definitely high, but that's your little tidbit and tip for this part of the trek. We still have the Salkantay mountain there ahead of us, right up there. Just gotta cross over that, and then we're on the back hill or the downhill side of the Salkantay Pass. But we're gonna go ahead and push on towards the summit and get the downhill section started. There it is, the top. We're almost there. 25 minutes hard push. Alex hasn't even cried once yet, so she may have at the top.
I might.
But there's the mountain and where we came from. All right, we can do this. Final leg. It's like seeing the visitor center at the top of Pikes Peak. You just got to get there. You're almost there. We can get donuts now. Alright, so we're hiking down from Salkantay. You can still see it over there in the background behind me. We got up here and had a light snack. It's been probably close to 40 minutes up here. And now we're going to make the 3-hour trek down to our lunch. Oh, I did forget to mention, at the top, elevation. By my watch, our elevation was 15,150 feet, and we started at 12,770 feet. So, not quite 3,000 feet of elevation gain there, but it was plenty nonetheless. We we still have probably an hour 15 to lunch. And then 3 hours after that, back to our camp for the night. It did just start to sprinkle a little bit. Hopefully that's all we'll get and it won't actually rain on us. We're back. So shortly before lunch, started pouring rain on us, and we got a little bit wet before we got to our lunch site. But then once we were there, it started pouring rain, and it did that for probably a good 15 minutes. At least it let up now that we've started back. It is looking a little dark in front of us there. It's starting to sprinkle again just a tad bit, but hopefully it won't pour on us like it did while we were at lunch. We've got about another 3.5 to 4 hours of walking before we get to our campsite tonight. You're doing it! You're doing it! You're hiking! I'm gonna put this away so I can concentrate on not falling down this very rocky and now muddy path. So it started raining again, pretty heavily actually, for about, I'd say, half an hour, 45 minutes. Luckily the rain has stopped for now. We've almost dried out again, and now we've got about another hour and a half walk down to the village, plus a 30-minute walk to our campsite. So,
You set an alarm?
yes, I'm setting an alarm. Here we are.
You said at 5:20.
Here we are. Day 2. Hardest day of the Salkantay trek. Oh, there's Alex. This will take like 30 seconds if you just participate. Anyway, day 2 of the Salkantay trek is the hardest. They say it's the hardest day of the trek, which it was difficult because you walk uphill for about 4 hours and then you walk downhill for about 6 to 8. So from the top of the Salkantay Pass to lunch is about 3 hours, give or take, and then from the lunch spot to your lodgings at night is another 3 hours. So it's a long day.
And downhill.
Yeah, I think we walked 16 miles. I clocked in about 16 miles. It was not nearly as hard as Pikes Peak, but still kind of tough.
My feet hurt.
Yeah. I do too. And it rained this afternoon, so that was a unpleasant surprise. It's raining right now, actually. Hopefully that all goes away by tomorrow morning. So we have another long day tomorrow, but we do get to go to
multiple times tomorrow.
We do get to go to a hot spring so Alex can relax. But yeah, so that was our day. In the morning, when it's light out, we can show you what our accommodations look like. They are by far much nicer than last night's accommodations.
You got a hot shower?
We did. Yeah, we do. And we have electricity all night, so that means Alex can leave her phone plugged in all night. And we have Wi-Fi.
And our own bathroom.
Not that the Wi-Fi works, but it's there.
And our own bathroom.
And our own bathroom.
We don't have to walk outside to go to the bathroom.
And we don't have to use our own toilet paper. They provided us toilet paper.
Which we are snagging on the way.
You only have to spend one more night in the woods. Anyway, we're both kind of tired. We just
We're exhausted.
finished dinner, and we have to be up at 5:30 in the morning, so we're going to call it a night. So we're back on the trail this morning, bright and early at 7 o'clock. It's now 7:40, but we got to sleep in a little bit till about 5:30 this morning, which was nice, and then had breakfast. Now we're on the trail. Today is one of our shorter days. We're only going to walk until lunchtime, and then we're going to visit a coffee plantation, and then go to some hot springs tonight. So, yeah, much better. Because this day was a shorter hiking day, it allowed for more time to learn about the history of the Incas. Our guide, Alex, did a fantastic job at demonstrating the forgotten or abandoned building techniques of the Incas, such as how they made grass ropes for bridges.
Hey, bro.
So the river, you can see there behind me, that we've been hiking by, actually feeds into the Amazon River. So that's kind of neat. And today we're at 8,000 feet, which is actually lower than Cusco, which is kind of nice. But today's hike is mostly up and down. Up one hill, down the other. Up one hill, down the other. And we're going to do that for about another hour and a half to 2 hours. So, and then we're going to go visit a coffee plantation. So that should be exciting. Actually, that's probably the part I'm looking forward to most about this trip, after seeing Machu Picchu, of course. So right over there is where the trail used to come across. The path over there got washed out with a landslide, and now we're going to follow this path. And it's a pretty narrow path right on the edge of the gorge. So I'm going to put this down and concentrate on not falling off. So we're coming into a granadilla plantation, which is similar, but not the same as passion fruit. So we're going to try some of that and see what it tastes like.
Like a mole. Okay. You cook, and then look at it. The white part. See how good it feels you are.
Ow! I did that way too hard.
So we're back on the trail. We left the plantation. We got to try some grenadine, which was really good. And we got to take a ride in a cable car across the river, which was also a whole lot of fun. Kind of nerve-wracking because there weren't any safety rails. But fun nonetheless. So now we're back walking. We've got about, he said, 3 hours for lunch. At some point in here, we're going to go visit that coffee plantation. But yeah, for now, more of the same. Face painted. So did I. We're now Incan warriors. What was that?
Channeling my inner warrior.
Okay. Anyway, final push to something else. Coffee plantation. After about 6 hours of hiking and a short van ride, we made it to the coffee plantation. There we learned about the Peruvian coffee culture and then used traditional methods to roast and brew our own coffee. We then had another short ride to our camp and lunch. Alright, so we are wrapping up day 3 of our hike. Today was the easier day. We only did 6 or 7 miles, got to our camp, had lunch, and then went to the hot springs. Sat in some local warm water with our group for about an hour and a half, and then headed back to camp. Tomorrow will be our last day of hiking, and then the day after tomorrow, on Tuesday, we'll actually make it up to Machu Picchu. So the end is in sight. We're all surviving. Alex had some blisters tonight, but she got those popped, and hopefully she'll be able to continue the hike tomorrow. We're in the dome huts tonight. There's our door. There's Alex telling me to hush up. Coming around. Got our clothesline hung up here, drying out our clothes from the last few days. The rest of our hut there. Comes around. 2 twin beds. So yeah, that's been our day. We're going to, it's almost 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and call it a night and catch you tomorrow on the hike.
Hey, okay. Day 4. 1, 2, 3. Salkantay,
So today starts our last day of hiking. We've got about 16 miles to go today. And we're starting off our hike on part of the original Inca Trail. It's gonna be a long day. But we get to Aguas Caliente tonight and go to Machu Picchu tomorrow. So because it rained last night, it's extremely humid today. I'd say the humidity is close to 90%. You can see all the clouds in the valley there. Like I said, it's our last day of hiking, so the end is in sight. As you can see, I've got my handy dandy buff on. This thing has come in extremely handy this trip. Anything from sun protection to mosquito repellent. So we're hiking to the top of this mountain where we should be able to have a view of Machu Picchu if that stuff there isn't in the way. So hopefully that's all going to burn off before we get up there. Otherwise, there won't be much to see. We made it to the viewpoint. Now we're gonna go look for Machu Picchu. Unfortunately, with all the fog and the clouds, we were unable to get a clear view of the Incan citadel. Every few minutes, the view would clear just enough to give a glimpse before disappearing once again into the mist. we decided to try our luck further down the trail at a viewpoint with a lower elevation. This time we had better luck and were even able to snap a few pictures. Then we visited the ruins of an Incan outpost that would have monitored and screened visitors to Machu Picchu. There's Alex coming down the trail. It is extremely slippery on the trail today because it, again, rained all night. So you can kind of see it's a little technical getting down. So we're going to try to do it without killing ourselves. That is the name of the game on this hike, not to kill ourselves. Got my fancy mosquito netting on again. We just finished lunch. We're on our way to Hydroelectrica. And then from there, it's about a 3-hour walk to Aguas Caliente. We hiked up the mountain, got to the top, went and saw some views of Machu Picchu in the distance, which we had some difficulty because it would fog up or cloud up every 2 or 3 minutes. So you get a brief window of time that you could actually see Machu Picchu. And then we walked down the mountain in the rain, down a muddy path for like an hour. So that was a good time. Alex has decided that she's going to take the train from Hydroelectrica to Aguas Caliente because of the blisters on her feet from yesterday worsened today. So she's going to get to take a train ride and tell you guys how great the train ride was because she's going to take all the pictures.
Yes.
She's the one to take the train ride from the very beginning, so this is just her excuse to go take the train ride. But for now, just walking along this path for a while until we get to Hydroelectrica. And then we'll say goodbye to Alex, maybe at the train station, maybe on a street corner. Who knows? But it'll be an adventure. Station. She's going to be riding the train to Aguas Caliente. Future reference, their train cost $39 USD or 147 soles. They do accept either one. It's $2.50. Alex's train should have already departed the station, headed towards Aguas Caliente. Should see her pass us along these tracks right here behind me or beside me. Here. I'd say the next 10 or 15 minutes. This part of the walk is fairly easy because we're right the train tracks. Alex's train just went past. And she should be arriving in Aguas Caliente here in about the next hour or so. So she's definitely going to beat us there. Hopefully she'll have time to take a shower, relax. Still have about 2 hours of walking to go before we'll be there. So that's what we're gonna do.
Good job, my friend. No. Smile. Wow. You're good. Almost right.
So we did it. We completed the Salkantay trek. Almost. We still have to go to Machu Picchu tomorrow, but
That's a whole different thing.
yeah, that's a whole different video. But today is day 4 of the hiking. We just finished it up. We're in our hotel room waiting for our bags to arrive and then heading to dinner. Today, day 4, was rough. Yeah, it was probably the hardest day. I think the weather had a lot to do with that. It was hot, humid, overcast, no breeze when we were hiking in the jungle, so that made it really tough going uphill. Then we were going downhill in the rain on a mud path. So all in all, it was just a long day. I think we did 16 miles today. One of our longest days. It was harder than what I imagined and thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit easier than what it was, just based on other videos I had seen and reviews that I'd seen.
Only had tears twice, and they were all in today.
We did it. We can now say that we did it.
I don't know. It was a good experience.
We just got to go to Machu Picchu tomorrow and finish it out strong. Yay! That's it. Wrapping up for the day. So we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Today was our last day of early mornings, our last day of the hike, and the day we went to Machu Picchu. We left our hotel about 6 a.m. to be on the first buses to Machu Picchu, and to be there as soon as it opened at 7. We were some of the first visitors through the gate, and this meant we were able to have an unobstructed view before the site began to fill with other visitors, which happened very quickly. Our guide then led us through the ancient ruins, explaining the history and the importance of this long-forgotten place. After a couple of hours, though, it was time for Alex and I to head off on our own and hike Huayna Picchu. Alex is heading off to climb Huayna Picchu. She's so excited. That mountain. Which mountain is it, Alex?
It's that one there.
That big one there. Yeah.
And I thought it was a winery or a wine tour.
Yeah, she's disappointed. She thought it was a wine tour. No, it's not. It's another mountain. It'll give us a different view of Machu Picchu. Right, so they say that this hike takes about maybe an hour up and 50 minutes down. So we'll see how accurate that is. It's a lot of stairs and no rail. All right, so we bailed out of Huayna Picchu. We got about halfway up and just getting too hot and sweaty, and we didn't want to be hot and sweaty for a 4-hour ride back to Cusco. So not complete that mountain climb. We did, however, get...
It says it's a moderate, and you are definitely climbing up it at some points. And it's very narrow, and you go up and down one way.
So there's so many people, and you're constantly having to like dodge people to get up and down, which is not fun when you're trying to get up it.
Yeah, we decided to go ahead and skip it and head back in. Maybe we'll catch up with the rest of our group here, Machu Picchu, and head back to Aguas Caliente. All too quickly, our time as a group had come to an end. Just 6 days ago, we were 12 strangers sitting in a room, wondering what we had signed up for. But over the next 5 days, we became a close-knit group of friends. And though we may never see them again, these once strangers really did make this the adventure of a lifetime. All right, so we're back in Cusco after our Machu Picchu hike. We've got just a couple of hours before before our plane leaves for Lima, yeah. So today, got a couple things on the agenda. We're going to head to the markets to see if we can find some alpaca clothing or something. I'll try to give you guys a tour of the hotel that we're staying in because it's really nice. I don't know that I'm going to get cuy here while I'm in Cusco. I just don't think I'm going to have enough time, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. Maybe I'll get it tonight in Lima. We'll see.
It's okay. The lady at breakfast this morning said he's not missing anything.
So we'll take you along and show you what you missed or what we didn't get to do before we left for the Salkantay hike. We hope you guys enjoy what you get to see. Hopefully we'll find something cool and
show you around.
Yeah. All right. So we're staying at the Antigua Casona here in San Blas. So we're going to give you a real quick tour of this hotel because it's a fantastic hotel. It's not the cheapest hotel, but for the money, it's definitely worth it. So we just left the hotel, we're off to the markets. Like we said, we're going to try to find some of these markets. They're maybe a little less well known.
So we can get some
cheaper souvenirs.
Yes.
Than expensive souvenirs. All right. So there are a bunch of little shops and markets around here that look like a regular doorway, but then you walk through them and they open you up into a wider market. So it's kind of a little bit difficult to really know what you're looking at first. So for example, spend some tourist dollars. Alex got some llama keychains. I almost bought a hat. A lot of these places don't like you to film inside there. Anyway, we're going to continue on, see if we can spend more tourist dollars buying gifts and whatnot. Again, we find ourselves at Plaza de Armas. It's not as busy as it's seen. So there are a couple of cathedrals across the street here that you can go in and visit. Some of them are free, some of them ask for a small donation. But there's a lot of stuff to do here in Cusco if you have the time. We just don't have time on this trip. So yeah, a lot of history here. All right, so I think we finally found the place that Claudia mentioned. So we're gonna go check it out, see what we can find. So, believe it or not, Alex was able to spend some tourist dollars. She got a really nice alpaca sweater. So, one down. I'm still looking for either a poncho or a hat. We'll see. We got a couple more markets to hit here. It's only, it's 10:45. So we got about an hour before we got to check out of our hotel. So we're gonna have to step up our game. So, okay, let's see what we can find. So we came in here before we left on our trip. Got a few things, so we'll see if they have anything else we're spending our money on.
So we just got finished spending our tourist dollars here. We learned how to barter, and we got hang on. We got a lot of stuff for very cheap.
So what Alex was trying to say is we just went and spent a bunch of tourist dollars at these markets. So we got one more. Still need to get some Christmas gifts. And I really still
need to get more money. I don't have any.
I still have 200 that I need to break. I have to have 160.
Well, I have none.
Okay, well we'll stop and get that on the way back. So I still kind of want to get a hat, 2 hats. Like a stocking cap and a hat. So we'll see what the San Pedro market is. We have an hour to get back and check out, so we're hustling. So we find ourselves back at the San Pedro market where you can find almost anything from handmade goods to food. So let's see what kind of hats they have. This is where Alex, our tour guide, got his hat. We'll see if we can find one that's similar. I did already find one that I like the looks of, but I don't know, we're gonna be quick. So we didn't get anything at the San Pedro market. I almost bought a hat, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. So we're gonna head back to the first store we stopped at, and I like their hats better, so I guess we'll probably end up giving them our business. We'll see.
Okay, so we just got to our hotel in Barranco. It is called Villa de Barranco. Sorry, it's very loud outside. They just showed us your room, and we definitely got upgraded to a master suite, which it's absolutely stunning in here. So this is when you first walk through the door. This is your king bed. We have two armoires, his and hers. There's our balcony. A little desk with filtered water and a menu of some things that we can get because there is a bar here. Thank you. Oh, there is an upstairs. We'll just wait. Here is the bathroom, which is equipped with literally everything you can imagine. This bathroom is gorgeous. So a huge soaking tub. The details in this place are gorgeous. A double vanity with all of the amenities. walls, you have a beautiful shower and bathroom. And then a little chaise lounger if you want to lounge or anything. And then I'm going to take you upstairs before the sun sets. So we're going to walk upstairs. This is actually got a second bedroom up here. So coming up, we've got an outdoor balcony. Beautiful view of the sunset. Guys, it's a beautiful room and it's the master suite in Villa Barranco. In Barranco. In Lima.
Alright, so first night in Barranco, we're heading to a restaurant called Ayahuasca. We ate at this place on our food tour, found out that this place used to be like a 18th century mansion, and I'm not exactly sure who owned it, but I will look that up while we're there. Anyway, we're gonna walk that way. Alright, so we managed to get our food ordered, minus some minor translation mishaps. Our server speaks about as much English as I speak Spanish, so Alex claimed she translated all of the conversation for me, but not really. Does she look like she speaks Spanish? No.
You're saying a lot more than I can speak.
Anyway, this place is poppin'. It is a bar restaurant, so set up as such. As you can see, we got lights, music. The atmosphere is very romantic. You consider our bar romantic. Anyway, for our meal, we started off with some ceviche. Alex got a Cusqueña dorada. I started off with a pisco sour double, which our waiter was nice enough to inform me it was very strong, so I have high hopes. And then for our regular meals, Alex got the lomo saltado, and I got a grilled seafood platter, essentially. So got some shrimp, got some octopus, fish, and calamari. So I'm excited. I did not get the regular full-on grilled octopus. It was a tough decision, but hopefully this will be a good one. Anyway, we're going to sit here and enjoy the atmosphere and then hopefully enjoy our drinks. Alright, so we just finished dinner at Ayahuasca. And as far as bars and food go, I'd say it was a solid 5 out of 10. Everything that we had tonight was average, from the pisco sour to the ceviche to the main courses. Nothing really stood out as being
Super good.
exceptional. Yeah, ceviche we had at our first restaurant here in Lima was much better. The pisco sours we had in Cusco were much better. So again, all in all, it was a 5 out of 10. But if you're looking for a bar atmosphere with decent food, Ayahuasca is a good place to go here in Barranco. But other than that, it's nothing exceptional. I wouldn't go out of my way to eat there again. Now we're headed back to the hotel, wrapping it up, gonna call it a night, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
Good night.
So it's morning time, obviously, with the light coming in the window there. And we're getting ready to head down and check out Villa Barranco's buffet breakfast. So we'll see how good it is. Temporal had a pretty good breakfast that they made for us every morning. So yeah, we'll see how they compare. Let's go. Alright, so we just checked out of our hotel, de la Barranco. We had wanted a late checkout, but they didn't have anything available, so we have to check out. We've got a cooking class here in about an hour, so we're gonna go run some errands, head to our cooking class, and then we're gonna wander around the rest of Barranco and Miraflores. Hopefully I'll be able to fly my drone a little bit today. As you can probably tell, it's overcast, so it is what it is. Still be nice to get some aerial footage of some sort, but we're gonna go run our errands and yeah, go learn to make some Peruvian food. While we're waiting for our cooking class to start, we're gonna talk a little bit about our hotel. We had a really good breakfast this morning. It was a buffet style. They provided all sorts of different fruit juices, cereal. They had coffee. They had like espresso machines, so you could make whatever kind of coffee you wanted, whether you wanted just espresso or regular coffee or cappuccinos, macchiatos, whatever. They had it all there. And then they have an a la carte menu that you could order: pancakes, waffles, eggs, multiple different styles, really whatever you want, and that was all included in the price of the room. And now the cooking class that we're going to, we're going to learn to make a couple different dishes. We're going to learn to make lomo saltado, ceviche, and then there's another starter and a dessert, and I can't remember the names of those, but I will let you know after the class, because I'll know after the class. And we're going to make a pisco sour, so we'll learn how to make a real one. That'll be exciting time for us, I hope. Always a good time at a cooking class. We've never done one for lunch. We're usually at a dinner, so we'll see how this goes. We started off the class learning to make a pisco sour, which is the national drink of Peru, or if nothing else, at least the most popular. Generally, like most cocktails, pisco sours are made in individual servings, but because of the size of the group and for ease of making multiple drinks at the same time, we used a batch method, which didn't affect the flavor in the least. I'm making tausa, which is a potato paste. I'm gonna measure our salt here. It's very powdery salt. Some lime juice, some pepper, some pepper. So we're going to take the rest of this potato and we're going to just pack it in on top. We'll see. It'll be okay. Not a little too much. We'll make it. So now we learn to make the ceviche. Alright, so we're constructing our ceviche here. 2 tablespoons lime juice. Putting our ceviche together. Bring salt and lime juice. We're gonna taste test this and see
And then
what
that
we
tastes
came
like
up with.
Peruvian ceviche. This is much milder.
That's
So
good.
now, first,
Alright, so we got the ceviche that we made. And then we're
And
working
then
on our
the
lomo saltado.
we use again the papa amarilla.
Start by making our French fries. I should note here that lomo saltado is the national dish of Peru. Much like the pisco sour that we made earlier, all of the dishes that we made in this class are traditional Peruvian foods that you'll see at restaurants, on the street, or in a home. Alright, we're going to pack our rice into our rice packer.
Your rice packer?
that lomo saltado that she made. She's so very proud of it. It does look good.
Let me see from this side. Yeah. Over here. Grab with your hand. Right. And a bit more. A bit more here. And all the way. I think if you shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Hand goes slowly down. Lay it in the oil before it breaks. And where is it?
We finished off the meal making picarones, which are a type of fried donut, typically found on the street, but still delicious even when made in the kitchen. Alright, so we just finished our cooking class. It was actually pretty good. We learned to make causa, ceviche, lomo saltado, and picarones, which are like little fried donuts, which are really, really good. And the format of the class was really nice because they would have you make a dish and then you went and ate that dish. Sometimes the classes that we go to, like you prepare everything and then you sit down and eat it as a meal. But this way you kind of got to taste everything as you went. So that took up about, 3.5 hours of our day. Now we just got to find something to do until about 8 o'clock tonight until we can go to the airport. We're going to kind of walk back down towards the beach, towards the Malecon, wander around there. I'm hoping to get to fly the drone a little bit. There's Alex. Have a blast. Still not feeling the best. Hoping I'll fly the drone a little bit on the beach. And then I don't know what we'll do. We'll probably find some place to sit and have a few drinks before we head to the airport. But we'll see. Who knows? It's a long afternoon.
Yeah.
Whoever booked this didn't do a very good job planning.